Hey everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it is time once again for another video. This time out, I wanted to do my recommendations from what I watched in May 2023. I started this format last month rather than doing an entire recap of everything I watched in the last month. You know, again, I don't think anybody really wants to sit and listen to what I thought about 16 different movies. But what I thought I would do is give you guys recommendations of the best stuff that I watched in the last month. So this month I have 5 top picks, and then I'm going to change it up just a little bit from last month and show you the sort of runners-up, which just missed being a top pick. So I'll do the 5 top picks, then I'll do the runners-up, and then we'll call it a day. So the first film, and the way this works is I'll show you the I'll go from my least liked to my most liked, even though all of them are highly recommended. They would all score an 8 or above if I was rating them separately. So first off, I will tell you about this one. This is Possession with Sam Neill and Isabelle Adjani. And the director's name is Polish, and I'm probably going to mangle it. I don't even know if it's on the... It's not even on the case artwork, which is sad. But this is just an absolutely bizarre film. And I do have a confession to make. I do own it on Blu-ray. This is the Umbrella Australian version. But I didn't watch it on Blu-ray, and it was the first time I watched it. I actually watched it on The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. And actually, I would recommend, if you do have Shudder, track it down that way and watch it for the first time if you've never seen it before, because his commentary and his information between the breaks and this, you know, he takes, like, he'll show you 10, 20 minutes of the movie and then he'll come in and talk. He gives away a lot of great information about the film. He doesn't spoil anything, but he gives you a lot of insight on how the movie was made, information about the director, what was going through the minds of the actors. It's just a really cool way to watch this movie. Usually I won't recommend streaming over physical media, but in this case, it's readily available because this Blu-ray is not easily obtainable in the United States. You can't just run out and pick it up at Best Buy or order it from Amazon. So if you've got the Shudder network or you want to try the free, a free 30-day trial or whatever just to watch it, check out the Possession episode of The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, and I highly recommend watching it that way. I don't want to give anything away about the plot other than it's not for the faint of heart. It's not exactly what it looks like it's going to be, and yeah, I really don't want to give anything away, but I would give it an 8 out of 10 if I was reviewing it. Next up is a horror movie that I actually just watched yesterday for the very first time, and that is X, starring Mia Goth and Jenna Ortega, excuse me, Martin Henderson, Brittany Snow, and Scott Mescudi. This kind of took me by surprise. I had heard lots of good things about it, but I had no idea what it was about, other than it was about a group of not kids, but young people making a porno movie on the property of an older couple without their knowledge. And that's really all I needed to know going in. That's all I knew. And coming out of it, I'm glad that's all I knew, because this is a really good movie, a really surprisingly good movie. It's not what you would think it would be if you just, somebody said, oh, it's a horror movie or it's a slasher movie or whatever, because it's really not. It was really engaging. The characters, even though they're not super fully developed, they're interesting. The acting is good, but it has a really dirty, sleazy, grimy 70s feel, which I commented on Letterboxd when I watched this. I said, this is the type of movie that Rob Zombie wish he could make. I really enjoyed this and thought it was just a lot of fun. It did creep me out. And yeah, go into it not knowing as much as you possibly could not know. And you should enjoy it. I would give it an 8 out of 10 as well. Then the other two that I have that I have watched that I would give an 8 out of 10 to are two that are available on streaming. One is Air, starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Just it sounds like it wouldn't be interesting. It's the story of how the Air Jordan shoes were marketed and introduced, and how Nike had to sell the idea to the Jordan family. Matt Damon is fantastic in it. Ben Affleck directed. He's also in it a little bit, but his performance is good. His character is pretty limited. But there's also a great cast whose names escape me right off the top of my head. But I would definitely give Air a 8 out of 10. And then the other one is Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. And that's a documentary about Michael J. Fox. It is narrated by Michael J. Fox. It basically tells the story of him going from an unknown actor doing commercials through his what he thought was going to be his last attempt at a role in Family Ties, which launched him into superstardom. And then, of course, Back to the Future, his movie career, Teen Wolf, and everything that came after, and then his eventual diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. It's a surprisingly emotional movie. It's very eye-opening to what he's capable of. It's just I don't want to say it's heartwarming, because that's not really the story. It's just kind of surprising. There's a lot of revelations about Michael J. Fox that I didn't know, and I'm not exactly what you would call a Michael J. Fox super fan. But it's just an engaging movie. It's very interesting, and Michael J. Fox is just, he's putting it all out there. Let's put it that way, about his diagnosis and his progress and the work he's doing to help people with Parkinson's disease. And it's just a really, really good movie. And that's available on streaming, I believe, on Apple TV Plus. And I would give that one an 8 out of 10 as well. And, surprise, I'm in a completely different shirt, and my hair is wet because I just got out of the shower. So I actually forgot the best movie that I watched last month, so I had to record this at a later time and stick it into the video. So I apologize for the sort of jarring appearance change and whatnot, but here we go. My favorite and the best movie of May 2023 that I watched was Uncut Gems, starring Adam Sandler. By far, this is one of the best performances I've ever seen from Sandler, and it ranks right up there with any other actor that really delivers the goods. This movie is amazing. It kind of sucks you in from the very beginning, and it's sort of like a roller coaster ride of anxiety and stress. Sandler is fantastic. One way that I kind of describe this movie is, if you had to make a movie about robbing Peter to pay Paul, that's kind of what this movie is. There's the back of it. I can't say enough good things about this. This I would rate a 9.5 out of 10. And just floored me. I slept on this for way too long. So if you don't take anything else from this video other than the weird wardrobe change, it is go see or go pick this up or find a way to see Uncut Gems. It's not a movie that is an easy watch. It's kind of stressful. But it's got a great cast. Of course, Adam Sandler, Lakeith Stanfield, Kevin Garnett, the basketball player, is in it, Idina Menzel, and The Weeknd. But this is totally Sandler's show. So definitely see this. I apologize again for cutting into the video and being kind of oddly dressed compared to the rest of the video, but I completely forgot this because my mind slipped. So definitely check this one out. Okay, and now I'll return you to your regularly scheduled video. So my runners-up are 4 films. These I would all give a 7 out of 10 to. I'm not going to just show these in, and I'm not going to show these in any particular order. I'll just talk about them really quickly. I guess the first is Alpha, and this is the story of, this takes place like, it says in the last ice age. I would compare it to sort of around the time of like 10,000 BC or something like that, but I'm not sure exactly when this takes place. But basically it's in ancient I don't know, it's not medieval, but prehistoric times, I guess. Um, but this is about a young boy who is going on his first hunt with his tribe, and he is accidentally left behind, left for dead, and he has to find his way back and find his way back to his village. And he befriends a wolf, and it's sort of about the relationship between the two of them, and sort of, I guess, attempting to be the first boy and his dog story, because this sort of gives you an indication of how dogs became domesticated. It's a very good movie. The only reason I didn't rate it higher is because it's got a lot of great cinematography, but a lot of it you could tell is rendered on a computer, and the camera moves through the scenery like it's an animated film. It's a little jarring, but it's not bad at all. It just sort of kept it from being a better movie than it ends up being. But it's still really good. It was directed by Albert Hughes, who you may know as part of the Hughes brothers. And yeah, Alpha. Check it out. 7 out of 10. Next up is a film that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and this is Keanu. This is sort of an overlooked film, I think. I had no expectations for this whatsoever. It is Key and Peele, Keegan Michael Key and Jordan Peele. If you're familiar with their brand of comedy, you'll fit right in terms of what's going on here. Basically, a gangster's cat escapes and is adopted by Jordan Peele's character, and then the cat ends up being stolen, and Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key, they play two characters, Clarence and Rel. They have to sort of impersonate two gangsters to get into the inner workings of the gang to get the cat back. It's a lot better than it sounds. It's really funny. It kind of starts to fall apart in the third act. That's the only reason I didn't rate it higher. But I haven't laughed this much at a comedy in a long time, and I would give this a 7 out of 10. Then I also watched for the first time The Jackal, starring Bruce Willis and Richard Gere. Bruce Willis plays a villain, and Richard Gere is, I guess, not his enemy, but sort of somebody who's pitted against him, sort of against his will. A lot of espionage, secret agent type stuff going on here. Really good performances from everybody. Who else is in this? This also features Sidney Poitier and Diane Vendra. And this was directed by Michael Caton. I know this is a remake of an older film. I have not seen that movie. That one is supposedly much better than this one, but this is not bad at all. I really enjoyed it. 7 out of 10. And then last, definitely not least, another Dollar Tree movie, Unsane, starring Claire Foy. And this was from the director of Contagion and Side Effects. And that director is Steven Soderbergh. And you know, if you know anything about Steven Soderbergh, he's always doing something unique when he's making a movie. There's usually some sort of gimmick or experiment that he's trying to see if he can make a movie doing X, Y, or Z. And on this one, the film was shot on an iPhone. I didn't know that until after I had watched the movie. So it really shows that you can, in fact, create a film on your iPhone. And I think this was the iPhone 7, as a matter of fact. So it's not even the more current models. But be that as it may, this has an excellent cast. Like I said, Claire Foy is in it, Joshua Leonard, Jay Farrow, Juno Temple, Amy Mullins, and Amy Irving. This is the story of a woman who accidentally gets admitted to a mental health facility, and she tries to get out, and she doesn't know if she's actually belongs there or not, and there's sort of a mystery to it. I don't want to give too much away about this either, but you kind of start to wonder, is she mentally ill or isn't she? Does she belong there or doesn't she? And it's kind of about her struggle and your struggle to figure out what's right and what's not. So this was a pleasant surprise, and this was another 7 out of 10. So there you go. That is what I watched, or at least that's what I would recommend out of what I watched last month. As always, if you've seen any of these movies, please comment below. Let me know what you thought. And if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it, as always. And if you liked what you saw, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Take it easy.